Warminster in Wiltshire. An exclusive 300-year-old boarding school with 400 pupils and a £9 million budget.
I have no doubt that Ms Ward and her pupils will be made welcome. We have two education systems in this country, state and independent, and there's an element of never the twain shall meet.
The Benrose School in Derby, a state-run comprehensive for over 700 pupils and a £5 million budget.
I can't recall ever having any connection with any private education at all.
Private and state. For generations, the educational gulf dividing Britain's school system.
Hello.
Now, in a unique experiment, these two head teachers have agreed to swap sides.
Hello, very nice to meet you.
What we deliver at this school is rightly regarded as just about the best education in the world.
They could pay me £500,000 a week. I would never be the headmistress of Warminster.
Joining them will be 3 teenage pupils from each school.
They're likely probably to have a stereotype of me as some posh kid who has a mansion.
Does private school really give you a first-class education?
I don't think you would get the same level of help if you went to a state school.
Why do I get everything handed to me? Got a lot of luck.
And does a state education really mean second-rate?
No, I've finished this bottle. The bottle is finished.
Well, I'm after the sheets being finished.
This might sound crazy. I want to go to Oxford or Cambridge, somewhere big.
If I don't get my head down at school, I'll probably end up doing nothing with my life.
This building is very important. This is the original school building. Started work on it in 1705, finished in 1707, and the doorway was designed by Sir Christopher Wren.
Mark Mortimer is headmaster of Warminster School in Wiltshire. He's been a teacher for 15 years and took on his first headship at the school in 2014.
Lord Weymouth founded the school in 1707 with the purpose of educating for free the sons of his estate workers. Obviously, in the intervening 300 years, we've moved away from that purpose. Particularly, we are a fee-paying school.
Warminster School is a boarding and day school set on a 60-acre site. Costing more than £27,000 a year to board, the school has 64 teachers, a dozen tennis courts, and a Tudor chair.
The chair has been with us at least 200 years, and we know that because on the back is some graffiti that dates from 1826, 1827. Lots of my predecessors had their portrait painted sitting in this chair.
Private school educated himself, teaching isn't Mark's first career. He went to Sandhurst and then spent 8 years as an army officer.
Have you looked at the website?
Obviously. So what are your thoughts having looked at it?
Now Mark is heading 150 miles north to Benrose Comprehensive in Derby on the first leg of the school swap.
And have any of you been to Derby before?
No.
With him are boarders John and Katie, and day boy Xander, who has never experienced state school.
It's only 1 week and I've got thick skin, so I don't need to worry about all that sort of teasing. They're likely probably to have a stereotype of me as some posh kid who has a mansion and 50 cars or something. But hey, let's break a few stereotypes. I think I will get to see a new sort of culture effectively, a new setup, a new environment. I'll probably, therefore, realise how fortunate I am.
I generally feel like I'm always been in this bubble of private school, and so I'm hoping to get out of the swap a deeper understanding of what state school is actually like, because it's such a mystery to me. I don't want to just go there and be like, oh, hi, I'm Katie. Okay, I'm judging your school. Okay, goodbye. I want to be able to, just get on there.
Joining Katie and Xander on the week-long swap is John.
Morning, sir.
Morning, John. How's it going?
He went to a state primary, but his parents felt Warminster would be the best senior school for him.
I'm not particularly good at maths, so I have a maths learning support lesson. When I first came to Warminster, they did a test.
As soon as it becomes 5, it's close to 4,000.
They found out that it would probably be a good idea if I got a little extra help. I don't think you would get the same level of help if you went to a state school.
I don't think it takes...
Waiting to meet their private school guests are Benrose head teacher Jo Ward and 3 of her students, Naz, Kasim and Brett.
Naz, how are you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling nervous right now.
Nervous? Are you?
Anxious. I want them to come quickly as possible. I can't wait anymore.
Yeah, I just want to meet them.
Benrose was built in 1930 and was originally a grammar school. It's been a comprehensive for 40 years. Jo Ward has been head here for over a decade.
I think this is probably my favourite part of the school. One of the things which I've always been struck by is how the building creates an atmosphere and a sense of presence, but also a warmth, so that the place feels as though it's friendly and inclusive and people will want to be here. I went to a girls' grammar school in Derby, and my first time standing in this school hall was as a 12-year-old, singing my heart out, the songs from the Mikado.
Jo took over at Benrose after it was classed as failing in 2003.
All right then, if myself or Armin feel that somebody is not engaging with the reading that they need to engage with...
The longer that I have been in education, the more convinced I've been that education is the key to unlocking the inequalities in society.
Right, I'm sitting. Okay, guys, have we got any questions so far about what's going on?
If we are going to make society a fairer place for future citizens, then the place in which you can begin to make those changes is in a school.
I'm interested to have the discussion with my opposite number at the school about what they regard as an excellent education. I think that if every school in the country focused on what the independent sector focuses on, then I think we'd be sorted.
Just 7% of us have been educated at a private school, but those who have disproportionately dominate the country's top jobs.
I'm really interested in what it is in the private school which is leading to those more high prestige careers, because if it's something that I can replicate here, I'd like to do that. And if it isn't, then at least we know, don't we? I've got this horrible sinking feeling that it's not what you know, it's who you know. But we'll see. Here we are.
There you go.
Good morning.
Mark Mortimer, headmaster of Warminster Private School, is spending a week at Benrose Comprehensive in Derby.
And Miss Ward, to you.
Joining him in a school swap are 3 of his pupils, Katie, John and Xander.
And it's a lovely morning.
Thank goodness. I see you've all got your white shirts and your black trousers on ready. Excellent. You'll soon look just like we do.
Benrose head teacher Jo Ward and 3 of her pupils.
Do you want to show the way?
Are their guides for the week.
Go on, after you.
So how many children have you got here?
About 700 and something.
Right.
I can't tell you exactly because we do get extras every 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
We'll get another batch of children arriving and then maybe a couple will drift off. So over the last year we've probably gone up about 100, right. 150 children.
Arriving from where?
Slovakia, Syria, Iran,
Right.
Doncaster. You know? Yeah. We get our new arrivals are usually direct from overseas and usually don't speak English or don't speak English very much at all.
Okay, good morning. My name's Mr. Wilkinson. Welcome to you today. This morning you're going to do some tests. We all don't like tests, they're the worst things in the world. But we use these tests to be able to put you in the correct groups. Okay, and we look at your ability in English, maths and science.
This morning, 13 new pupils are being admitted to Benrose, and our private school students are joining the latest intake.
The school is a very old school, has a lot of history to it. It's a school we are all very proud of. Okay,
What struck me about the admissions process is children arriving at odd times of the school year. I try to meet every set of parents of pupils before they come to the school. I think it's very difficult for Jo and her team to meet the parents here before the children have started.
In the tests, the private pupils score average reading ages of over 18. The new Benrose children score an average reading age of a 7-year-old. All of them have English as a second language. In fact, that's the case for over half of Benrose students. And a third have special educational needs, like dyslexia and autism. Once they're in, every pupil is assigned to one of 4 schoolhouses, each with its own distinctive coloured tie.
Just going for 3 sweatshirts with badges. Yeah. And we need 3 ties. We need 1 green, 1 red and 1 blue.
Wearing their new uniforms, the Warminster pupils are shown to class by the Benrose students. Xander joins Brett in art class.
So yeah.
Right, gentlemen, we're actually going to do work, or we just sit and chat?
I've finished this bottle.
Yeah, just sit and chat.
No, I've finished this bottle. The bottle is finished.
Well, I'm after the sheets being finished. Right, so let's chatter.
That was
Every time we are talking, we are not working. If we can do both, great. Until then,
shut up.
Yes, great.
Yeah. What do you think it's fun to like mess about?
It's just a laugh, isn't it? It's just a laugh.
It's freedom.
But you have to know when to stop and like do your work as well. Though you can't just keep like going all the way through the lesson, or else you're not going to get any work done and get in trouble.
Yeah. Do you think that'll affect you in the future by like messing around lessons?
Well, yeah, because if you mess around, you're not going to get the grades you need, are you?
So why are you messing around then?
For fun. So I only do it like a little bit, then I stop. I don't carry on like all the way through the lesson.
Right, pen sprays need put away.
I think my behaviour's good most of the time, but then it can go a little bit dodgy. I think education is important because if you don't have it, you've got less of a chance of getting a job. If you don't get a job, you're not going to be able to pay for a house, pay for your food, pay for your family. And like, personally, I wouldn't really want that. If I don't get my head down at school, I'll probably end up doing nothing with my life.
Oh, sorry, man. Something that private schools I find are very good at are giving pupils confidence. Confidence in who they are and confidence in that who they are is a good thing.
Grind your foot into the back.
And to be proud of it. And not to be shy or worried about what other people think. I really love engineering. So I've decided that engineering will be the thing that I'll go into.
What time do you start?
Well, I wake up at 6:30 in the morning.
I can't do that.
But the actual day starts at sort of 20 to 9-ish.
Yeah.
That's registration.
I got up at 8 this morning.
I get up at 8 every
I
morning.
miss breakfast every day to play Xbox.
And then you go home at 5. 5.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
Oh, I don't know, it's kind of alien-ish.
Yeah, alien-ated. That's a word.
Yeah. It doesn't suit your look, mate.
What do you think of this school? What is it?
I think they teach you reasonably well. The lessons are good.
We're still ain't here. It's not on, so you can get late mark then.
I found it quite difficult seeing it still, Brett. I think it's difficult for actually quite a lot of kids to pick which side of the fence they go, whether they join in with sort of silliness or whether to go against that and say, look, this is my future, this is my learning. You're only in this school for 5 years and you're out in the world for 60 years. So I know which way I'm going.
Nearly all private school pupils pass 5 GCSEs, including English and maths. For state school pupils, it's just over half. Benrose has the same number of teachers as Warminster, but double the number of pupils. So is teaching at private schools superior to the state sector? The private school headmaster, Mark Mortimer, agreed to teach a lesson. Mark is a history teacher and took on a first-year GCSE group from a Benrose teacher.
They clearly got a fantastic history teacher anyway. I guess I'm slightly nervous of not measuring up to her high standards. And obviously I'm hoping I get some interaction because otherwise it's going to be a long hour.
Has anybody got any questions about what's happening today? No? Okay, I'll leave it over to you, sir.
Okay, as Mrs. Golding said, what we're going to look at is the Vietnam War. We're going to watch a video clip, and it's from a film called Apocalypse Now, which some of you may have seen. This is a scene of American helicopters coming in to attack.
In terms of the quality of private education, I have mixed feelings. Some of the weakest teachers I've ever known have been recruited into the private sector to teach. And therefore I'm thinking, do they teach to the quality that my teachers teach? Or is it the case that because the children perhaps are more compliant, you can be more lazy?
Imagine you came into this classroom and I was lying on the floor in a pool of blood and there was a great big knife sticking out of my chest. What are you going to deduct? What are you going to think? What did you say, Nabila? It was a murder. But there's no sign saying murder. You have made a deduction based on the evidence.
Right, okay, Sharmal, can you give me the rules of Connect 4, please?
While Mark is teaching Benrose students,
You need 2 players, that's a good start, yep, 2 players.
private school pupil John is getting his first taste of maths in the state sector.
Right, just give me a minute of your time, please. One of the questions is, there's a lighthouse. Now, guys, I'm going to tell you something random. I'm scared of lighthouses. I actually have a phobia about lighthouses. And it's called batophobia, all right?
Mr. Thomas has been teaching at Benrose for 8 years.
He's constantly helping you, he's walking around, he's being interactive. It's maths, which is one of my less enjoyable lessons, but I really enjoy maths when I'm being taught by Mr. Thomas, which is a really good thing.
What about if we look outside and the clouds are really black? What do you think is going to happen? Sorry, Lucas? Good lad, it's going to rain. That's a deduction.
He doesn't leave other people out, so like, let's say if I sit or lesson quiet and I don't want to give feedback, he still invites you to the lesson.
Right, boys, what have you got so far?
I think the self-esteem of the student goes up as well when he actually talks to you personally and gives you his own opinion and asks for yours as well.
15.5 over 24.7. Can we just do that one, please?
They had over 30 pupils in that lesson, so they actually had to move a couple to another classroom. If you have a class full of lots of other students, then there's more people to talk to. I think that's the thing that most people get distracted by. If I was there for a long time, then yeah, I might not work as hard.
And I want your books.
If you want it, you can have it.
At Warminster, John has been entered for foundation level maths. That means the top grade he can get is a C.
I hadn't done trigonometry before, but I did it today. It's pretty easy. I had a bit of fun, yeah, it was good. It's nice.
At Benrose, there's a different assessment of his potential.
Without being too contentious, to me, if John was in this school, he would be in a set 1. We'd be looking for a grade 8 at least.
When someone like that says something like that, it makes you feel so good.
Help yourself to a seat.
It's great. It's a really nice feeling inside. It just shows that state education doesn't necessarily mean worse education, it just means different, and different can sometimes be good, which is obviously in the case of Mr. Thomas.
Has anybody got any questions that they'd like to ask Sir, just before we go from about? Okay, stand behind your chairs, please.
I was struck by some of the children in the history class I taught this morning who were good, but they lacked confidence. But I could see that they surprised themselves when they answered the questions. All right, girls. Bye-bye. Well done, you. Good stuff. It's clear that there are a lot of socio-economic factors that clearly have an impact on the children's well-being and how they perform at school.
Benrose's catchment area includes some of the most deprived parts of Derby, with more than half of all students receiving free school meals. But some thrive, despite extreme adversity.
I'm from Syria. I lived in a city called Aleppo, and I'm originally Kurdish. My dad had to leave Syria in 2004 for political reasons, and our family was split for 7 really long, sad years. In 2011, we got the chance to reunite with my dad in the UK, which was a dream come true. Since then, we've been trying to adjust to the life in the UK.
Naz lives in the Normanton area of Derby. This week, she's partnered with private school pupil Katie and has invited her home for dinner.
It's a bit garlicky, our food. That's good, thank you. Alright, yeah. My parents tried their hardest to find me the best school and the best place for me to live for my future. And I want to prove them right. I don't want all the hard work going for nothing. I came here, the only words I spoke was thank you very much. And then, yeah, I would get laughed at.
Yeah. You like more food?
Yeah. More? Your parents pay for education. You feel like if you don't do well, then it's a waste of money. Or you're disappointing them, in my case. I want to finish uni. I don't want to be just some random person working in an office. That's not something for me. So you want to be what do you want to be? So I enjoy baking, I enjoy music, and I enjoy messing around. So I was sort of thinking if a primary school teacher might be quite cool. So that's your dream job? That'd be a really cool job, yeah. Oh, are you gonna work in private school or state school? I don't know if I've thought about it, actually. You want a big job when you're older? Yeah, maybe. Let's be Prime Minister. Prime Minister. You can borrow it from that. When you see people like Naz, really determined, she knows what she wants to do, whilst I'm sort of more drifting around it seems like a nice possibility, that might be quite nice.
Pizza.
I feel like having Warminster, it sort of gives you a chance to try everything. If you're at Benrose and you have a clear idea of what you want to be, then that's fine. But if you don't, I feel like you can sort of get washed away with the rest of the other pupils there.
Right, you all need to have a book and we all need to read. So if you've not done so already, please grab it.
There's some students who don't really care what they do and how they succeed and if they're going to be successful or not. Because there's that one switch in their head that's turned off, and that's basically because they've given up. They've given up on being successful. They don't believe in themselves.
The headmaster of Warminster Private School and 3 of his pupils are spending a week at Benrose, a comprehensive state school in Derby.
An alert for room 34.
Thank you.
This morning, the private head, Mark Mortimer, is on duty with state head teacher Joe Ward. They are responding to a call for assistance from a teacher in a classroom.
Every teacher has got a computer and they've got a link to the central system, so they will press a button on their computer and that will alert us to which room it is, and there's always a senior member of staff on duty. And at the moment it's us.
Yeah.
The system enables intervention to stop disruptive behaviour by students.
Right. Have they got books that they need to get out?
Yes, we're in the process of...
Right, we need organisers in front of you, we need books in front of you. Get your pens out on the desk so that you are ready to learn.
Some children had been playing up in a lesson taken by a supply teacher, but Jo quickly resolves the situation. If pupils need to be removed from class, they are taken to a designated room where they are permanently monitored.
Roger, hello. Mark Mortimer, nice to meet you. What sort of numbers do you get in here in a typical day?
Well, it can vary. I think over the 11 years I've been here, I've probably had about 4 days when there hasn't been any students in here at all.
Right.
Normally, isolations, you're looking a figure of about 10 to 12 a day.
Right.
Sometimes that can be absolutely rammed.
Yeah. And what sort of things typically are children in here for?
Low-level disruption, uniform issues, fighting in the classroom, you name it.
So lots of things.
Lots and lots of things, yeah. A lot of it comes from family backgrounds, irrespective of where they're from, but some of the students don't know how to behave, so they have no boundaries at home. I would suspect your numbers are a lot lower than ours. Or?
The numbers are a lot lower. We have something similar to seclusion, we call it internal suspension. Internal suspension gets used once, twice a year at most.
Is your room, is it staffed by a person?
Well, we don't actually have a room.
So it's just the senior management?
It would probably be I don't know, to be honest. We'd have to fight.
Do you want me down there?
The comparison with Warminster is pretty stark. You know, it's very difficult for children, just like adults, to do well and to thrive if they've got problems, if they're unhappy, if there are things distracting them. We're extremely lucky at Warminster, the children are getting the same messages at home that they are at school, and that to me is very, very important.
Warminster finishes at like 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And so to me that's normal. If Warminster finish at like 3 o'clock, I just have more time to mess around, watch TV.
I expect her right now to walk into my next lesson or something, or go somewhere where I need to be, but I don't really need to be anywhere right now, so it is strange.
It's not just the longer school day which is different for Katie and John. Like half of all pupils at Warminster, they both board, spending weeks at a time away from their parents.
One of the advantages we have at Warminster is time. We are a 7-day-a-week school, so Saturday is all about sport, but there's often things in the evening. Sunday we have chapel for the boarders and there's plenty of activities there. It is a wraparound care.
While after-school clubs are on offer at Benrose, most children leave the school by 3 o'clock.
So what did you do in cricket today?
Kasim heads home with his buddy for the week, John.
So what would you want to do as a job?
Earn millions for doing absolutely nothing.
That would be a brilliant job.
I know, right?
But I'm afraid one like that doesn't exist.
It does.
What? Growing up, inheriting your parents' money, making someone else run your business, just get the money. That sounds like a good job. I would love that.
I think anyone would. About 3:15, I arrive home and then just eat, go upstairs, get changed, play Xbox until dinner.
Chores?
100%.
I've never had an Xbox One controller.
It's pretty cool, though.
Only 360s isn't nice. I'm a bit jealous because, like, you guys end school so early and you don't have any prep, so you got so much free time.
If you have detentions, would it be in school time? Because
Yeah,
like you're in school time not all the time, so there's not really detention.
It's like lunchtimes, like detentions. It kind of sucks.
I think I've had like 1 detention this year.
Really?
I get away with it.
In Warminster, you've always got something occupying you, which means it's less time for you to mess around. I think that maybe I wouldn't have the same amount of discipline here.
Despite its shorter day, Benrose invests heavily in pastoral care.
Come through, this is Cherry Tree.
Deputy Head Neil Wilkinson shows Mark around the school's dedicated unit.
Students will come in through the main entrance here, they'll come to the window and they'll liaise ideally with the head of house if they're upset about something or something's happened to them or they want to disclose, or we'll bring them in. I always believe that school is the most stable thing for many of them in their day. So when they come to school, if they know that they're cared for, they're wanted, we will provide for their need as much as we possibly can.
The office is staffed by 4 full-time heads of house, whose job is to offer support to pupils.
When children arrive unhappy, or when something goes wrong for them, they need help on that day, and not to the second, but very quickly after the need arises. So if your support mechanism is a teacher, then they're going to say to you, oh, I'm ever so sorry, but I'm teaching, so I can't actually help you until 4 hours' time.
One of the ways Cherry Tree helps pupils is restorative justice.
Hi, girls. Hiya.
Mark joins head of house Anne Dakin as she oversees a session.
Right. Now, you want to start, Chanel? Can you tell me what happened then, Chanel, please?
We were walking out from the DTE block.
Yeah.
And as I was coming out, Victoria slapped me around the face.
Okay, thank you for that. You heard what she had to say, now can I hear what you have to say? What happened?
When we coming there out, I came with my friend, and there are small space and lots of people.
Yeah.
And I'm scared, and they are pushing each other, and I'm pushing Chanel, and they're saying sorry, and she said me, she went 2 teeth and a front bit.
Okay, so you felt like that you'd been pushed and shoved, and that so you slapped her back?
Yeah.
Okay. How do we sort this out between the two of you? What do you think needs to happen?
Like, she don't tell me like fat bitch or 2 teeth.
So you wanted to stop making comments to you in lesson? Okay, fair enough. And what about you, Chanel? Maybe you could think about what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that fair from what Victoria said to you? Yeah? Is that okay? Yeah. Yeah, Chanel?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you, Chanel.
So what's the threshold for coming to you for...
Anything. This just happened.
Yeah.
If there's an incident in a lesson and the teachers want to get involved in that, they'll let us know and then we will do it later.
Yeah.
It is dealing with conflict and it's teaching them the skills of how to do that. And it's actually re-educating them in certain areas, how you can empathise with somebody and not have to talk in that way to somebody else. It has had a massive effect and it's spread throughout the school, so behaviour's calmer, everywhere's calmer, you're more likely to learn.
I think it's a great idea. I think it's a great idea that you're not always sanctioning children and punishing them, and that they understand the consequences of their action. It's definitely something that we can take from here and implement at Warminster.
The school spends almost £1 million a year on additional support for its pupils, a fifth of its annual budget.
There are clearly a number of children here who face significant challenges just in terms of coming to school, understanding how to learn, speaking English, having enough clothes to keep warm, enough food to thrive. When I'm back at Warminster getting worked up about whether I'm going to have asparagus or beans for lunch, remembering back to some of the challenges that Benrose faces will be helpful in me in putting some of the problems we deal with at Warminster into perspective. I hope I don't forget that.
Right, joy up! Come on, move now!
Private school headmaster Mark Mortimer is spending a week at Benrose Comprehensive School in Derby.
I think there's a misconception that success or achievement in independent schools is about who you know. Well, that's nonsense. That might have been relevant years ago. I don't think that's relevant anymore. I think that the answer is that many pupils leave independent schools genuinely believing that they can achieve anything they like if they set their mind to it. They have high self-esteem and they have self-confidence.
At Benrose, that very self-esteem and self-confidence are lacking for some students. Of particular concern are white British boys. Every Wednesday, Brett Riley gets up early to attend a breakfast club targeting this group. In 2012, the Benrose school received a good Ofsted rating, but the need to improve the achievement of white British boys was highlighted.
Hi, Mark Osman.
Mr. Khan.
Nice to meet you. All right for me to sit here?
Yes, that's fine.
Teacher Mustan Khan has been running these weekly meetings before school for the last year.
Okay, we'll make a start because time's already with us. Today we're going to be talking about investing in yourselves. So,
Joining Brett is private school pupil Zander.
oh, anybody heard of that kind of phrase, investing in yourself? Brett?
Make sure we go to after-school lessons and stuff like that. Make
Okay.
sure we get, basically, make sure we push ourselves.
Okay, I'm talking about on a general level. So there's different areas. Eating the right food. Cheap, tasty food, okay, which is unhealthy. What kind of foods am I talking about?
Kebab.
Okay, kebab. You can get a burger and chips for £1.50. What happens if we eat this type of food once a month? Is it a big deal?
Not as much as having it every day.
Can we all agree that it's not good for us, okay, in the long run? These are your own decisions that you need to be making, okay?
Underachievement by white working class pupils is a national issue. They are consistently the lowest performing group of pupils in the country.
There's millions of people out there who have conditioned themselves that it's not worth it. You've gone a lesson, you've tried, the teachers, I don't know, said it's not very good, and you've actually believed that you're not very good as well. So you condition yourself to say, you know what, I'm not very good. We'll carry on with this next week, okay? Make sure you finish this, take this food, lads. We're going to be making our way to the canteen.
We either don't do my homework because school's for work, home's for my time. I've just never done it. It just doesn't really appeal to me. Some of the reasons I don't do it is because I kind of share a room, never have time to myself to do it, won't be able to concentrate properly, and that kind of stuff. But it's actually saving the teacher's time. They'd have to go home and mark it, so.
The kids are quite truthful. They say themselves, you know, some of them don't like coming to school.
Because they don't enjoy it or because they don't see the point?
Both. I've said to them again and again, I said, lads, you physically come to school, but you're not present.
Yeah.
They find it hard to kind of understand that. Yeah. You know, I've got the uniform, I'm on time, you know, what do you mean? And, you know, it's like switching the on switch on.
Yeah, but that's it, isn't it? I mean, they're going through the motions.
They're going through the motions. So it's just trying to give them take a little bit of ownership.
Yeah. What we're trying to do at my school is really very similar to what you're trying to do, but it's this idea that you can get there. Look, there will be knocks along the way, there will be obstacles, but don't worry about that. And it needs to be, I think, a sort of relentless focus on this across the school. So at every opportunity, those standards are reinforced.
Mark's a big believer in developing character-building qualities outside the classroom.
You enjoy boxing? Good stuff. I'm looking forward to it. Hi, Stan.
Nice to meet you.
You too. Can you tell me what this is? What this is about?
Just teaches us a bit of discipline and it gets them out of school for an hour. It's a bit of fun.
It's open to everyone?
It's open right the way from year 7 till 9. Good. Are you taking part?
Yeah, I am.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I've got
Top
my kids over there.
Top stuff. Thank you. Right, come on guys, let's go.
Stan Khan runs boxing sessions for Benrose pupils twice a week. This is just one of a variety of non-academic activities and classes the school pays for.
Right, Troy. Stretches, mate. Do it as you walk round. Just look at Troy.
We're sort of 10 minutes from school.
Yeah.
And so the school pays to hire the gym.
Here, they've just got all the facilities that we haven't got at the school.
And what benefit do you think they get from it?
Ones that lack self-esteem, just builds that confidence and gives them something to do out of school.
Stand by. Off you go.
Research has linked social mobility to school leavers' confidence and self-discipline.
Hitting one of these bags for a minute on, a minute off, it's quite physically quite tiring. You know, you've got to stick with that. Absolutely. You've got a clock in the corner counting down, you've got to keep going. In terms of learning that actually you can do it, you can keep going, is an important lesson.
B-Box is popular among students and often oversubscribed.
Yeah, I can feel it working though.
It's about the importance of children looking at things and thinking, well, I've not done that before, so rather than therefore shy away from it, actually I'm going to engage with it and give it a go. Benrose, it's got a lot of space, but it doesn't have all the facilities. But there are just not enough hours in the day, I think, when your day finishes at 10 to 3. And I know there are after-school clubs, but it's more of a challenge, just from a logistical point of view. The fact, I think, that at Warminster we have the time and the resources, facilities to do that, puts us at an advantage.
As the week draws to a close, private school pupil Xander visits the home of Benrose student Brett.
Hey, come on. I didn't clean it today.
That's fine, doesn't matter. So you share this with who?
Troy.
Troy. Oh, alright, cool. It's cool. How much pressure is there for you to fit in with everyone else and what they're doing?
I just feel like if I don't fit in with people, I won't have friends and stuff like that, but I'm not sure really, it's just a bit weird, you know.
My advice to you would be like, stick around with the kids who are nice. If you hang around with them a bit, I think you'll start like maybe learning like a lot more and starting to enjoy it a bit more.
Yeah. So I just realised, you're really good at giving advice, aren't you?
So when you the peer pressure and that sort of attitude of not wanting to learn, that is definitely something which sort of starts to break down confidence, because suddenly you're being judged a lot more. 36 equals 6 times 6. What is the smallest? I don't know, pizza. I found the first couple of days at Benrose, I can feel people judging me. I can feel that it's confidence sapping. If I had been at Benrose for my whole school life, I think I wouldn't be so driven. I wouldn't be so determined.
They look amazing. I mean, some of the lads have got out in the middle of the night to get themselves ready.
Oh, yeah, with the hair.
On the private school visitors' last day, there's a party for students leaving Benrose this year.
Going in? Are you?
Yeah, I always do. Go on, sir.
All right. Back at Warminster, I've outlined my views on what makes a first-class education. I suppose where I was slightly naive is how easy it might be to implement that at Benrose. It is easier in the context of Warminster. But my idea of what comprises a first-class education hasn't changed.
For Mark's pupils, it's been an education of a different kind this week.
Jo, thank you. It's been great.
Very welcome. It's been absolutely wonderful.
I think I would say I was sort of the classic, quite right-wing private school boy when I sort of walked in here. And I'm walking out with more understanding of the world around me.
Why do my parents send me to Warminster and the other kids' parents can't do that? It's lucky that I'm part of that 7% which go to private school.
On you get.
Got a lot of luck.
Got the right 3? Yeah.
I find it really fun. It's been a real eye-opener to what school life is like in state schools. It's also reassured me that it's actually better than I thought it was going to be in state schools.